What I'm curious about is this, right? So you know you went to a good school, and you also know that either way you would have been taken care of. Like if you took risks, you wouldn't be homeless.
Yeah, I
You
wouldn't.
would
I
always
would.
like
I would
be
move go
fine.
move in with one of my friends or my mom or somebody. Like I knew like I was never gonna be homeless. Like I think the more safety nets you have, the less drive you have. I think I kind of am in a sweet spot where
Yeah.
it's like I think a lot of people act out of fear because some people dead ass don't have any safety nets. Like they don't
Yeah.
have a fucking mom or a dad that like or like a friend that they like at the end of the day, even if my parents were like fuck you, like I would go find a friend and just live on his couch and figure it out, you know?
No, but like I was establishing that context because I'm sure when you were actually doing all this, like
Yeah.
you made it sound very like you're a very confident person now, and you were kind of talking about like, oh yeah, I discovered this while I was researching this,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there was a part of this story where it was really difficult in terms of like actually starting, in terms of actually like
Yeah.
generating capital. So like, how did you get over that voice in your head? You know you have a safety net, you know you're not gonna be homeless,
Yeah.
you're trying to make money, it doesn't work out. And instead of saying, oh, you know what, I'm happy with what I do. Like, what made you push past that and say,
So
like, you know what,
it's two
this pain
things.
is going to
It's
become
I
something else.
know how bad the fucking Matrix is. Like I'm a little autistic, a little ADHD. I like to talk a lot. That's just like corporate life is just not cool with that. I know how good like how bad the Matrix is. I know how good freedom feels.
Well,
Eh,
let's go more into that.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean by I know how bad the Matrix is? Explain
20
that to me. Like,
years,
what do you think of the
20
Matrix?
years working, making somebody else rich, doing some boring ass shit, getting paid like basically not that much bread, with 3 weeks paid time off, sitting down indoors all day is fucking terrible. And like, I don't think enough people are acknowledging. Like, I would rather fucking go do surveys and make $20 a day and live in Indonesia than do that. Because it's just like humans are not supposed to do that. And I'm sure all these people will give like me really complicated arguments like, oh, well, actually family and all this shit, and you like actually could get a lot out. Like, the thing is for me, it's like I don't have any direct family I need to take care of. My mom's chill. My mom can take care of herself. Dad's chill, take care of herself. My grandma, 91, we're really close, but she's gonna pass away. Like my sister's taking care of herself. Like I'm thankfully like not indebted to people. Like my parents will be fine even if I supported. Obviously, I'm gonna support them, but like even if I couldn't, they'd be fine, right? So like that was like the minimum baseline where it's like this is not even really an option. I think most of it is like I'm really petty. I think I have a lot of energy. I have a lot of creative energy, and I just can't see myself giving that to somebody else to make them rich. It's like it feels like exploitation, right? I think a huge part of it, and Alex from Mosey talks about this. Like it's like you either need to be fueled by love, passion, hate, anger to get through. And I'm starting to realize this is that a huge part of me wanting to be successful was making sure I was right and like proving all my friends and it the way it sounds like I'm talking about my friends in this podcast sounds like I fucking hate them. But I actually were really close, but it's like there was just complicated politics and dynamics with them. But I was so dead set, even when I didn't believe it. I still kind of didn't believe it, but I was like, fuck the Matrix, fuck corporate, fuck Goldman Sachs, fuck Morgan Stanley, fuck McKinsey, fuck all of that. Escape the Matrix, start your own business. It can't be that hard, right? I was so dead set on being that person that could do that.
Since when?
Studying abroad really changed my life. I thankfully was like went abroad when I was a sophomore instead of most people go junior year. Most people should go sophomore year because I think sophomore year is very formative. You understand where your life path is gonna go, and then junior year you kind of hammer that in for most people. And sophomore year, I was like knew deep inside I wanted to like do my own thing, but I still felt like I could go corporate and it could work because you go to Berkeley, you get a job, whatever. Like you're white, like you get a fucking job. And like I went abroad and I lived. I didn't bring my phone. I had an iPhone. This is the only phone I brought with me.
It's my first phone I ever had as a kid.
Yeah. And I didn't have a SIM. It could connect to the internet. You feel it. It actually feels amazing. I think
Usually
this
the
is
battery blows up on these, so I'm
yeah.
really
Well, this is
impressed.
actually it's kind of a scam. It's not actually a 5. It's a iPhone SE first generation.
SE?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I would kill to get an SE
And
back in the
like
day.
you have this small phone. You can't really like get Instagram, Snapchat. It doesn't really work on there. Like you can get like emergency shit, chain tickets.
Did you happen to have this, or did you
I
buy it just
bought
for the
this,
ticket?
and
Oh,
like
wow.
I went abroad and I left my phone at home, and I was like, this is going to be, that was one of the bravest decisions I've ever made. And I was like, this is going to be where I figure out life abroad. I can figure out what I actually want and like totally forget about all the shit. Like, that's why it was so smart to go sophomore year, because like junior year, second semester, bro, you're already like thinking about an internship and you've already like kind of basically chose your life path at that point. Sophomore year, you don't know anything, you know? And I was so blessed with my experience being abroad, where I lived at my friend's dad's house. And my friend's dad is the president of this really big institution that handles a few $1 trillion of capital. And he like obviously lived a crazy life. He had this really nice house. I lived with my friends in his house and we traveled all the time. I went to all these countries and I saw all these people, and like I had this insane experience, and it was just complete like life maxing.
Wait, I'm sorry. So this guy was like a part of your abroad program?
No,
Or
no, this was just a friend of mine.
oh, this is a friend
My
of yours.
friend's dad.
Your friend's dad, and then you like met up with them while you were abroad?
No, I lived in his house.
You lived in his house.
Yeah.
Okay.
And me and him were pretty tight. And I learned so much from him, and I learned so much from traveling, and I saw like the peak of like money. Like I traveled in first class and I went to all these crazy restaurants, and I was like, okay, this is the peak of what it is. And like it's like cool, but it's not anything like insane, you know? You don't understand. Like you see all these Bali influencers and you think they're full of shit, but like low key they're on to something. This girl who was like a really good friend of mine in Turkey, and she was an influencer in Turkey, and she lived the coolest life I've ever seen of anybody, where she got paid tons of money to fucking make stupid videos once a month.
It's like an influencer.
Yeah, like she do a product video. She was really good at what she does. And then unlimited motion, invited everywhere, flown out all the time to all these fucking crazy parties and shit. And it was like, I was like, damn, like this life is fucking amazing. Like I've met billionaires. I've met all these crazy rich people that do all this shit. I've never met anybody with a cool life as hers. And that was really inspiring to me, where I was like, fuck. Like, and the shit that she was doing was genuinely really cool. Like she was making films and stuff. And like,
Oh, this wasn't just your normal UGC content.
no, like she would do that to pay the bills, but like even the UGC stuff she would do would be like really artsy and cool. But like she would just make movies, and it's cool because like most movie people are just unemployed, but like she would make movies, people would actually fuck with them. She had like 1 million followers on Instagram, and like her life was amazing. And I was like, fuck, like now this sets the bar of like I know how good life can get, and I know how good freedom feels. So it was, to summarize your question, it was A, I was terrified of the corporate life. B, I wanted to prove myself right and my friends wrong. And C, going abroad and like experiencing freedom without a fucking phone, without Instagram, without Snapchat, without watching the news or giving a fuck about anything, showed me like, damn, like life is actually amazing. And I felt like for a little bit in that moment like a hunter gatherer. Like I was like, damn, like I don't really give a fuck about anything. Like I'm just eating, traveling, and it's amazing, you know?
Similar to the advice you just gave right now, maybe the person behind the camera is like, oh, this advice is useless to me because this guy is experiencing things that I'm not going to experience. I'm going to not a well-known school. I'm going to some state university.
Yeah.
And then I'm also, I don't know if I can go abroad. I have to take care of my family, or maybe
Yeah.
I go abroad, but I never had like an experience like you. Like, how would you keep their confidence going? Like
Yeah.
I know you kind of gave advice right now about like what you should do, but how would you also reinforce that to say like you're not just talking to people that are like you, you're also talking to people that don't have that.
So let me tell you a story about this entrepreneur where his dad was a doctor, and his dad was always saying like, get into you don't have to be a doctor, but get into something medical related, right? Because I know so much about medicine and I could give you all the connections and help you out all the time. And the entrepreneur was like, I can't do that because everybody will say I wasn't self-made. I was Nepo, and nobody will actually respect me. That entrepreneur was actually Alex Hormozy. And I don't know if you're like really into him, but like I'm really into him. And obviously he went to a different industry and became super successful. But like looking back on it, he was like, fuck. I could have leveraged my dad's connections and started a huge biotech company and got rich way faster than waiting until I was 35, right? And the reason why I bring this up is I think people A, are ashamed of the competitive advantages that they have, or B, don't even really think about them. everybody, no matter what, has a competitive advantage in some way, right? So let's give an example of a kid going to Chico State. Maybe his parents are immigrants from Mexico, right? And he's maybe in that same situation. He's watching this. I don't go to Berkeley. I don't have rich friends that have houses abroad. I can't really go abroad. Like, this advice is kind of useless. But the advice that I would like to say is, like, what I did was I saw like the unique opportunities that I had and I took full advantage of them. Let's look back at this kid, right? Like, so maybe he doesn't have that much bread. Parents are from Mexico, but he speaks Spanish. So now it's like he has this huge competitive advantage that he speaks Spanish, right? Or maybe his parents are landscapers, and now he has this competitive advantage where he has insight to the landscaping industry because his parents do landscaping, right? So he speaks Spanish, he has landscaping. This is just an example. What he could do is be like, okay, this is two things that I have that most people don't have. So I can take advantage of this opportunity where it's like, I know about tech and maybe some things like this. My parents have knowledge about landscaping, and I speak Spanish. Let me combo all these together and let me sell some tech forward service to landscapers that are from Mexico and they only speak Spanish, right? That's an industry I wouldn't be able to compete in because I don't have that competitive advantage, right? So the point that I'm trying to make here is it's a really bad mindset to look at somebody telling a story being like, oh, like X, Y, and Z happened and this happened and like it worked out really great for me, right? Because you're like, oh, well, if I had that, then I would have done that, right? But the thing is, really successful people see what they have an advantage in and they just go full in and they completely take advantage of that, right? Because the only way you really win is by being unfair. If everything was fair, then nobody would be rich, right? So the advice I have for that theoretical person is think really deeply, maybe even journal about it. Like, what am I uniquely good at? What am I uniquely positioned at? And how can I exploit that as much as possible to become successful? Because realistically, that's the only way that it's going to work. Is that, like, you need to figure out, I'm good at this, so I should do this, right? Because people will just kill you in any other industry, you know? Like, for my first business, the staging one, my mom's a real estate agent. That's how I had the insight to know, like, oh, like, fucking staging is super ass and like they're charging $60 a photo and it looks like shit. There's an opportunity here, you know? Without my mom being so tapped into real estate, I wouldn't have known that.